Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a pretty long agenda, but I think we'll get through it pretty quick. Mayor's report, very short. You know, one of my favorite things to do is welcome new businesses to town, and a new shop opened on East 4th Street called Twigs and Twine. It's a thrift shop, so welcome to them. Also like to congratulate Copper Mule Distillery that's on the east, just out of town, on their grand opening last weekend. It's a great addition to the area and the city of Hermann. I want to thank the city electric crews for finally putting lights on our parking lot at the city hall. We've been after that for several years now. So they are erected. You know, the weather's hot, it's going to get hotter. You know, please check on your neighbors and and those people who walk their dogs. I see it all the time. Just be aware of how hot that asphalt is on them puppies' feet. I mean, take into that consideration. And being it's hot, try the local pool, cool off. It's there for you to use. And also this week, I don't know exactly when it's supposed to take place, but MoDOT is supposed to start on the paving process on 19 and 100. Apparently they're going to do most of the work in the evening or at night, but they really haven't told us what day they're going to start. So
it was supposed to be today. Did anybody notice them setting
well,
up?
it says the week of, so.
And they were supposed to hold an on-site meeting with our local people, and they never did. So I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm sure at some point.
Yeah, well, I just want everybody to be aware, so, you know, if they start, be aware of all the activity that's going on. That's all I have. City Administrator report.
The hot topic of the day, the cloudy water. So we're very apologetic about that. It looks unpleasant, but I think there have been a lot of Facebook posts going around and stuff today. It's completely safe. It's air in the line. I checked with the water department right here at the end of the day to see if they had any resolution. If they've done a lot of checking and looking. Potentially, it may be the Seatall well. They called in Gary DeWitt, who is our well guy, as well as the engineer to meet with them tomorrow to troubleshoot some more to get to the bottom of why this is happening so frequently. But again, just to reiterate, it's air in the line and it's completely safe. The Market Street project too. Last week, everybody saw them working on the east side of the street, doing those water taps. Darren's on vacation this week, so that's kind of halted a little bit. And they will be working on the west side of the street next week. Thank you. So they'll resume that project next week on the west side. The street department's been working up here on this part of 18th Street today, working on the curb and gutter. And also, Todd was involved in getting that fence down by Unkins to look like the original fence installed around the piping. So that is there, just missing the little extra piece that's going to go down across the sidewalk itself. So that did get done last week. I've been getting involved in orienting myself with some meetings this week. So I attended my first MRPC meeting via Zoom. They hold those down in St. James. So I attended that meeting, and as well as last week I went to the chamber meeting as well, and I plan to attend those fairly regularly. Gary Giesler from the Airport Commission reached out to me last week. He wanted to have a meeting. I took Jesse with me as the Public Works Director, and we went to the airport and met Gary primarily to discuss about the apron that we've had this grant out there. It's been in limbo and held up for quite a while. We are still hopeful that it's going to happen this year. The state just has not been able to tell us when. But he did give Jesse and I a bunch of information, a bunch of history about the airport. There are a lot of projects and different concerns and things that they have that they want to see done down there, and we'll be addressing those as the time goes on. You're also going to see in this coming week's newspaper that we have an ad placed for bids for airport repair. So that is different. That is going to be for the outside of the building where the last flood damage was. FEMA gave us some money to repair the inside and all the office and the interior, but there wasn't enough money to do the outside. But we had enough money left over from one of the other FEMA projects that they're allowing us to use on the airport repair. So it'll be for the outside of the airport building is what that will be all about. Tonight on the agenda, yay, we have the first reading of the budget. That's always a big deal and a big relief. It's obviously, it's healthier looking than it's been in a long time. Those tax supported funds look pretty good. They're well in the black. Of course, we had an issue with the utilities, and we're addressing some of that even tonight. But for the general public, again, who may not have seen the budget workshop, sales tax increased over the year by 12%. So don't know how that'll hold up for next year, but for this past year we're coming out of, that's amazing. So that's really great. Next meeting, we will be working on budget amendments for closing out this year's budget, and then doing a second reading of next year's budget. So that's a lot going on at one time. There are a couple other things on the budget that I can elaborate on as we go. I can talk about the details of the wastewater rate increase and the DNR loan and things like that. But if you'd like, I can talk about those as we get to them. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Muskrat Society, you want to give us an update, Bob?
Thank you. I can, so I'll just. Say administrator, I want you. You don't get one. Dan. Jim. Mayor. Derek. I'm sorry, Miss. And for you. And I actually do have one for you. I wasn't cool. Okay, this won't take very long at all. I just thought it was a good idea to come in and brief the mayor and Board of Aldermen on what we're up to. On May 2nd, we had a pancake breakfast. We raised a couple $1,000s there and 14 new members. We had the boat down at the VFW hall, and a lot of people stopped and came and looked at it. We had several people in costume as docents, and they told about the boat and what it did, how they were used, and we had artifacts and so forth, real artifacts of the 1780, 1790, and 1800 period. Especially the kids were very interested in seeing all that. We entered the Muskrat in the My Fest parade, so we were in on that, and we had plenty of candy and some trinkets and stuff, beads and things to throw to the kids. They loved it. Apparently it went pretty well because nobody threw anything back. So, and then on June 19th, coming up this Saturday, we're going to have a cleanup day for the boat. It's going to be out at the storage area on 19 South. And we have everybody come in to clean it up and get it ready for the summer activity. We also have included the 7 people from Learning to Live Recovery, which is out on H. And they're very helpful and want to get involved in community services. So we're happy to have them. We're going to feed everybody brats and all kinds of other things. And once we get our job done, we're going to scrub it. We're going to paint up what's painted, not painted, make sure everything's working good, and put our best foot forward. We've entered the Muskrat, the boat itself, in the Freedom Fest parade on July 3rd, evening July 3rd, and then we will have people in costume and things for the kids again, and then we're going to take it down the next day to the riverfront and put it on display so all people can see it. We'll take the artifacts and both the storyboards and so forth for them to, for the kids and the docents can answer questions and so forth. On July 10th, we've been asked by the Missouri Department of Conservation to bring it to the Runge Nature Center and put it on display to kick off their 6-month exhibit on the importance of the Missouri River and the development of the state of Missouri and the western states. And so we will have it up there, getting it cleaned up and spiffed up. And so it'll be on loan from the city of Hermann, and the boat will be there about, less than a week. But the exhibit will be up there for 6 months. So that will take that part of it. We're gonna have to then take the boat over, we're gonna store it for a few weeks at one of the members' places in California, and then we'll take it to the state fair. So it's going to the state fair, it'll be an exhibit at the state fair for the same purpose and part of the bicentennial celebration. So we'll have our artifacts, our storyboards, and the boat. So it's going to be a big summer, and we need members. So Trish, how about it? Anyway, thanks for listening. That's where we stand. Any questions I have?
Anybody got a question?
We did get a grant for $2,500, which I think I reported last time, but it's been funded and we have our money, so we're slowly building it up and we'll be moving on.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other public comments? Okay, we'll move on to ordinance.
All right, the first ordinance for tonight, which is on for second reading, bill number 2021-20, an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hermann, Missouri by adding a new code section 420-750 in Article 4, Administration of Use Regulations of Chapter 420, Zoning Regulations, to address the use of cargo containers.
Any discussion? I have a motion to approve.
Move it second.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for second reading, bill number 2021-22, an ordinance to amend sections 22190, 22200, 22210, and 22220 of the municipal code and prescribing a schedule of rates for refuse container leases for garbage and refuse collection, for billing and collection services by the city, for recycling charges, and for closure expenses related to the city sanitary landfill.
Any discussion on that? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion's been made. Do I have a
Second.
motion made and second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried.
Next, for second reading, bill number 2021-23, an ordinance to approve a support and maintenance agreement by and between the City of Hermann, Missouri and Electric Controls Company for the city's SCADA control system.
Any questions? Discussion?
I move it second.
Motion's been made. Second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for second reading, an ordinance to approve a cell tower lease agreement by and between the City of Hermann, Missouri and MCC Missouri LLC.
Any discussion? Motion?
I move to approve bill number 2021-24, second read.
Motion's been made. Second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for first reading, bill number 2021-26, an ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a municipal services contract between the City of Hermann, Missouri and Lee Regal.
So Lee has made it known officially that this is his last year that he will be asking to renew his contract. He'll be retiring.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or anything?
I move bill 2021-26 for read.
Motion's been made. Second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for first reading, bill number 2021-27, an ordinance to revise Hermann Municipal Code Section 710-020, sewer service rates.
So, yeah, I can touch on that. Every year we have to analyze our rates to make sure that they are complying with our bond rate covenant. So that covenant says that we have to take in $1.10 revenue for every dollar expense that we have, thereby making sure that we can pay our bond. So when I calculated it, it comes up to approximately $2.60 per connection. And as we had discussed at the budget workshop, that equated, we decided to put the $1.50 into the base, which raises that to $25.25 from 23.75 to 25.25. And the per gallon rate is going from 0.0041 to 0.0044. Citywide, over the year, that will produce about $57,000. It'll be effective July 10th, and it will first show up on the August bill.
Okay, everybody understand?
I move Bill 2021-27 first read.
Motion's been made, second.
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Does that need to be read twice?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Next is bill number 2021-28, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement for services between the city of Hermann, Missouri and the Hermann Area Hospital District and Oates Incorporated. This is the annual contract with Oates providing for services and the city's share of cost.
Okay, any questions? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made, second.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, bill number 2021-29, an ordinance providing for the budget for the city of Hermann, Missouri for fiscal year 2021-2022, and establishing a salary schedule for officers and employees of the city of Hermann, Missouri for fiscal year 2021-2022.
So the only changes to this since the budget workshop are those things that we talked about. The wastewater revenue that we just first read is now in here, as well as the Amtrak expenses that lodging is absorbing. And we all approved cell phones for, new cell phones for the utility departments. And then in our favor, I changed some of the beginning balances as we got here closer to the end of the year. I was able to actually increase a couple of those carryover balances.
Very good. Any other questions? Have a motion to approve?
Move to approve 2021-29.
Motion's been made, second.
I'll
Second.
second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2021-30, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Gleason Landscaping LLC to build a retaining wall in the 400 block of the East 2nd Street alley.
Any questions on this one?
Can we explain it a little bit, why we're doing this?
Yes, something that the city had done with some boring and something in conjunction with Calabite that created a void. So the city felt responsible for that, and they're going to build a retaining wall for these citizens.
It changed the watershed on the hillside and caused a retaining wall to start to form.
Okay, any other questions? Have a motion?
I move Bill first read.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2021-31, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Madden Media to develop a marketing plan.
Any discussion? Questions? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2021-32, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Madden Media to build, host, and maintain a new tourism website.
You had any questions on that one? Motion?
I move Bill 2021-32 first read.
Motion's been made, second.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2021-33, an ordinance to approve a contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Cochran Engineering and Surveying Company to provide a field survey for the city's 69 kV line easement.
Is this the last thing we need before we get this going?
Well, they're going to prepare the survey, they're going to figure out in which areas we already have easements, and provide descriptions for all the easements, and then yes, we have to convey those or transfer those to Central. So,
Okay. Have a motion?
I move to approve bill number 2021-33.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Resolution.
First resolution is a resolution to appoint Patricia Haney as the city's director for the for the Missouri Joint Municipal Electric Utility Commission, and Jesse Geltz as its alternate director.
Very good. Any questions on that?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, second?
Second.
Motion's made, second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
And next is a resolution authorizing the city of Hermann, Missouri to execute a loan agreement with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Division of Energy for the purpose of financing certain wholesale electricity and/or natural gas costs incurred due to extraordinary prices between February 10 and 2021.
Any questions on this one? You understand what we're doing here?
Yeah, so this makes it official that instead of 17%, it's going down to 10%.
Those percents are approximate, but yes,
And no interest.
and no interest.
And from 3 years to 5 years.
Yeah, so we want to make that really clear, because I'm sure a lot of the public didn't see our special meeting we held, so
It was a godsend.
yes. So instead of, the alderman had agreed that we needed to recoup the money in the gas department within 3 years. So we were going to proceed with an ordinance to increase the rates to make that happen. Just when we were about ready to do that, the governor made available this DNR loan for 5 years, no interest. And so it means that we can immediately get all the money back and recoup our emergency funds now, as well as ease the burden on the customers by extending out the repayment 5 years, thereby lowering that approximate percentage that Susan just brought up from 17 to 10%. So yes, I agree, it's really pretty fantastic.
It's a good thing. Okay, do I have a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 1308.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
That sound of yours, Kathy, doing cartwheels now. Getting the money back in that account.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. Any old business? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Any new business?
Yes,
I
we
know.
have some new business. We recently put in a little inflatable pool, and last year, the city revised their building code changes to meet the current international building codes. And one of those involves if your pool is more than 24 inches deep, you must get a permit and you need to have a fence around your pool. And I know that fencing is expensive right now. There are ways to make it work. We did it ourselves, so please put fences around your pools if they're taller, because we don't want any kids accidentally wandering into your yard and getting into your pool and being injured.
Any other comments? Any other?
I was going to bring up with where we're at in Hermann, Missouri, and America with recovery from the pandemic. I believe it might be a good idea, maybe a time we look at maybe an economic development person to look for, maybe we can entice some industry, retail, housing. I see a lot of requests out there for housing and for jobs, and I believe we got some money for economic development from the state here a while back, so we have some money there, maybe we could look into that.
Well, we can always look into it, but I really think with our situation, the economic development part, I know that's under Tammy's title, and I know she does what everybody perceives as more tourism than anything else, but a lot of the tourism that she does is also considered economic development. The biggest problem with the economic development circle is, before we can do economic development to have a factory over here, we gotta have a subdivision over here for people to live that's gonna work as a factory. So, I mean, it's kind of a vicious circle. Where do you start? you know, so, I mean, you can't really have somebody come in and spend $10 million to build a factory and then not have a workforce.
I know of two places in town that the two combined right now are looking for 30 employees and can't find them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, I agree. Down the road, maybe that's something to look at, but right now, I personally, you know, it's up to you all, but that's just my outlook on it.
No, we talked at last meeting about we're getting competition from another county in the tourism community, the growth of what can we do here to make sure Herman's still a good point to come to. And then I know from other areas in Salem or down towards Springfield, they do have some economics going where there are increasing housing. And I see a lot on social media where people are looking for rental or homes to buy. And it all has to come together, like you said, the industry, the retail, and the housing. And if we could get a focused person that could spend more time on that, maybe could, if we wait, the surrounding areas will be getting it, so not us.
Well, I think everybody is worried about the Augusta thing. I personally don't think that's gonna affect us at all. It might at the very beginning. People are gonna wanna know what it's about. But Herman is unique in its own self. People come here because it's Herman. You know, yes, there's wineries here, there's distilleries, but they come here for the historic atmosphere of Herman. I really, and maybe I'm all wet and wrong, but I really don't think that's gonna bother us. And then as far as those places down in Springfield and wherever else it's on, they're all along the interstate, they all got flat land. We don't have that flat land, we don't have that, you know, we don't have a lot of places to build stuff.
Well, we have one housing project that's currently in progress. It's not moving very quickly, but it's still all in the trailer park. And
Well, and I understand that it's in the development stages that there's gonna be a subdivision in Rhineland. It's not in Herman probably, but it's close enough that that's gonna help us. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be right here in Herman, but with the surrounding area. So, I mean, but it's well worth considering. I just, you know,
I think it's worthwhile we look into, because the longer we wait, and we can't put off for tomorrow what we should start looking at today.
no, a little proactive wouldn't hurt it.
Do some investigation and see what we can do to make Herman even better than it is.
that's always a plus. No doubt about that. Any other new business? Okay, let's move on to motion. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Invoices for payment.
Move we pay the bill.
Motion to pay the bill, second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
So carried. Hire Charlene Watson and Beth Cobb as part-time tourism service assistants. What this is for the visitor center, if you don't understand that, so. This is a good thing, and that should be up and running the first of next month, is that correct?
July 1.
So finally getting that accomplished. Okay, do I have a motion to hire those two people?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approved bid from Gray Bar for a 300 kVA rebuilt transformer for $8,428.57.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item E, Madam Media Search Engine Marketing Contract Renewal for the Tourism Department. This is an annual thing, correct?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We're gonna appoint Norbert Englert to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I move to approve. Norbert.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We're gonna appoint Rick Osley to the Board of Adjustment. I have a motion to approve Rick.
So moved.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for the Midwest Blue Oval Club Rally with Cruises and Car Show. Request street closure of East 4th From Market to Schiller and Schiller from East 4th to East 3rd, August 14, 2021. Any questions on that one? This is the one that's got to be a Ford, or made by Ford. They, one thing about this organization, all the money they make, they give back to the community in some way to different organizations. I think it's a win-win.
It's very good.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit, Adam Pupta, Showboat Theater, June 27th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion been made, second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Conditional use permit renewed for Right Place Best Rentals, Valerie Wright, for a non-owner occupied guest house at 215 East 5th.
Do you have a manager?
Yes, right now.
Do we put that on these forms, who their managers are? I'd like that to be on there, but we don't have to ask every time.
I don't mind answering questions.
Any other questions or discussion?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
So carried. No reports, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you so much for coming and watching.
We keep doing this as quick, we're never going to see each other.
Hey, with that one, we'll list them for
We stay up late so often.
Doing real well. We actually had 2 of you.
I told our neighbors, lights on, it's an hour
Yeah,
later.
I wanted to drive out
Our
last
second
time.
candidate,
And you need it, I said, well, not yet, but we will.
that was,
Even if they won't do
COVID made it
anything.
weird.